So I try to talk to people, as many people as I possibly can, and even just talking to random people, nobody either don't get it, doesn't sink in, they don't believe me. They're even before they do their own research, they're willing to completely can my credibility. So I'm just making videos, right? I'm trying to at least get my side of the research done from what I have found of the story that's available to public. And that's part of the thing is it's like, look, you can take my word for it or not. That's all up to you. I'm just here letting you know that as far as public record is concerned, this is what I have found. Okay? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you need to swallow this. Like, if you watch Hollywood movies, there is an underlying rule that if it's in the movies, you are viewing stuff that the CIA has mastered or was at least on the drawing boards up to 50 years ago. Okay? Like, we're talking about we're talking about maybe one whole generation, maybe two whole generations is how far behind what Hollywood is willing to tell you, or what you see on TV, or that's just an example. Anything being released to the public, you're at least 20 to 50 years behind whatever the government is playing around with on your ass. Like, not just like off to the side or something, but they're like using this against you or, in your daily life, right? Okay. So, just to jump to the title, Delgado and the Matadors. Like, why are high schools named Matador? Why is Delgado such a prevalent name? Okay. If after talking to somebody for so long and spewing out all kinds of stuff that corroborates everything about Delgado, everything's reverse corroborating other things that I've said. I have other stories that corroborate other stories that corroborate other stories. And if you listen to me long enough, Delgado fits right in there like a glove. Okay? And then not only does it fit into my stuff like a glove, but it fits into, stuff like COVID-19 and then other Hollywood movies like Strange Brew and, weird things that, like I said, reverse corroborate each other, meaningless by themselves. But if I tell them in a string of a story, you'll be like, wow, that is kind of crazy that all of those sort of ride along the same theory. So, why do I even talk about Delgado? Well, it's for a reason, and it's especially because nobody else is doing it. So you should definitely stick around and figure out why I am seemingly obsessed with Delgado. It's just funny, like what is so entertaining about a bullfighter, right? Ooh, it's big and scary. No, it's not. It's not just a mascot at your school. Like, there is way more to that whole matador bullfighting thing. Like, it's not just because Spaniards have, big balls and standing in front of a bull. That is definitely not what it is. It is not because the Spaniards or Spanish or, anybody that supports bullfighting has big balls. That's actually the opposite of it. So one of the main reasons I explain is because this is a huge deal. It was a huge deal 100 plus years ago, and it should still be a big deal, because if nobody knew to make a big deal about 100 years ago and we're still not making a big deal about it 100 years later, what does that tell you about everything before you right now currently? That, like, this is huge. Because I tell my story and then I'm like, look, imagine being a bullfighter and that is your bread and butter. And then you got Delgado, right? Imagine having to compete with Delgado for a crowd after I'm about to tell you what I'm about to tell you, right? It's the same thing. It's no different. If nobody ever addressed it or acknowledged it facing Delgado, you better believe every last thing before you today is the same situation where if you are just out there with your heart on your sleeve trying to start a small business and you think you're going to hang with hair and nails, you think you're going to hang with the liquor store, you think you're going to hang with McDonald's, you think you're going to hang with Taco Bell, you think you're going to sit there and ride it out with with that barber shop down the street that just popped up in that dead strip mall. You really think that they're going to give you the same breaks on the rent as they do with these barber shops, hair and nails, and vaping smokes and stuff? Like, I mean, I've seen plenty of vaping smokes go under. So vaping smokes aren't getting away with whatever they want, wherever they want. But, you see those dead strip malls and you see these anchor stores, but they're not anchor stores. It's not like JCPenney or anything. You just see barber shop, hair and nails. Okay, Delgado. Just to cover this, I found. Let's see. How did I get to Delgado? I don't even remember how I found Delgado. I wish I could remember the lead up story, because that would be interesting if I could remember that part. But so every time I've had to sprinkle in, I just have to sprinkle in what Delgado is. So I found that Delgado was messing around with radio frequencies and was doing various biological human experience, and then whatever he was doing with his health experimentation, whatever his studies were for human anatomy and health, he then used whatever he was doing on bulls. Okay, so that's it's like, dude, come on, how is that just a random turn in the story? I mean, sure, you can, if it's a great, like, they always do that if they're trying to figure something out for humans, they switch it over to animals, right? But that's if you believe the whole story is 100% honest the whole time, right? Like, they test this stuff on humans. It's not about being able to control a bull. Oh, so he starts testing out whatever he's doing with human anatomy on animals. Like, that is one of the first, like, tall tales of it. It's like, dude, that's all that ever is a lie in order to, tell the story and have it make sense to other people. Like, we just started doing this. They were doing it to both, okay? But the story has it that Delgado was feeding bulls an oral contraceptive that would grow antenna through the skin, right? And then you'd have a little radio frequency signal that could get the bull stop, go, left, right, charge, be angry and charge, right? All remotely done over 100 years ago. Think about that. How are we getting an oral contraceptive to react with a radio frequency signal over 100 years ago? If that was happening then, you'd believe that it would be more prevalent now. Not like, whatever the materials were being used then are hard to find. But hard for you to find, especially after hearing the story. Why would they figure that out and then tell you and then leave all the ingredients on the table? When does that ever happen? Come on. You're calling me stupid. See, I got tired of this guy. It's like, you're discrediting everything I told you in light of me trying to help you, and you're now calling me crazy. It's like, what? Are you protecting this guy? Are you a paid shill trying to stand in front of Delgado's story, or what? Like, I'm over here trying to tell you, and then anybody else who has a brain within earshot can hear this and know this, that competing against Delgado 100 years ago was futile, right? I'm explaining a situation where starting a small business as a bullfighter 100 years ago was impossible. Okay? Like, you would have died, and you would have just completely wasted your soul trying to attain something that's impossible 100 years ago. Think about it now. Like I said, you think you're going to start a small business and it's going to stay open next year? Oh, man. You should see how much of history is laughing at you in the face, okay? That's what I'm here. The guy that was giving me crap about all of this is like, look, I'm here to help you. You're calling me crazy. If you can find a different reason as to why anybody would keep saying Delgado's name, or as to why a matador would be a big deal at all, if you can find anything other than what I just said in this video, then by all means, you can take that and run with that in your life. But from what I have found, oh sure, maybe this isn't the first one. Maybe I'm not giving you the first evidence or first story or first occurrence of this. This is first public occurrence 100 years ago, okay? Like I said with Hollywood, if it's in Hollywood, you're 50 years behind. So you can just tack on another 50 to 100 years to Delgado feeding animals oral contraceptive and then having a radio frequency battery-powered button in his pocket, make it a bold stop. Just tack on 50 to 100 more years. So now we're looking at 200 years ago. All right? 200. Think about it. I'm just trying to apply level-headed math here. Public record says 200. If you want to sit here and call me stupid, call me crazy, public record says 200. Not me. That's public record. All right? So, and then if you ask me even more, they added 100 years to our calendar. So we're talking about a 1,200 year gap if you want to suck that public narrative's hoo-ha all day. We're talking about 1,200 years, technically. Really, it's more than 200, but if you want to ride that and suck that public narrative off every day, we're talking 1,200 years. All right? Excuse me here, but this is ridiculous. So, I'll put like audio warning in there. But yeah, anyways, I can't believe the way people treat me for coming up with all this evidence. I mean, I was sleeping on ASU campus, homeless, when an episode for History Channel came out using the antagonist from the show Heroes. I've told this story enough. I need to know this guy's name. He looks like Ben Affleck or something. The Hayden Panettiere just passed away. She didn't pass away. She's fulfilling a new role of Charlie Kirk. You really think they shot Charlie Kirk? Come on. In 100 years, that's going to sound stupid. In 50 to 100 or 150 or 200 years, that's going to sound dumb as hell. So, oh my goodness. Where am I going? So, Heroes there's the antagonist from Heroes doing a History Channel episode while I'm on ASU campus. History Channel's on ASU campus doing an episode less than 2 years ago from this YouTube episode. You can go check this YouTube episode out where they're on ASU campus. History Channel goes and talks to some ASU professor that's messing around with all this technology, and they're like, watch this. I'm going to strap electrical diodes to your arm, and then there will be similar electrical diodes attached to my arm. We are not directly wired together. You are wired in wirelessly, and the other individual's wired in wirelessly. He's like, you're going to lose your free will. It's like, watch this. and the professor moves his arm, and then the host moves his arm, or whoever on the show strapped into the diode moves, their arm moves against their will. So check that out. That is Delgado today. If you didn't believe the story I told you of 100 years ago being able to physically move another body of an animal or a human using radio frequency signals against the other individual's will, the one being subject to the radio frequency ulterior movement controls, either aware or unbeknownst to this fact, not able to control their movement against the radio frequency signals that override theirs. There's an example of this happening 2 years ago on ASU campus while I was there. On top of that, I'm just going to sprinkle this in there because I'm just doing a little episode right now. I had no idea what targeted individual stuff was, okay? No clue. I was dealing with it in the raw, explaining it in the best way that I could using my own terms. Went and talked to a friend, seemed helpful. They're like, oh, no, I know what you have. It's called gang stalking. It's on Vice. It's a mental condition. I was like, oh, so you're not a friend. And then everybody I talk to, it's like he F's with it. He is with it. And it's like, oh, see? You know, as if I'm a jump to conclusion type. Go talk to any random person off the street. They're like, they with it. It's exact. See, they with it. He's with it. He knows about it, right? Either directly or he's that stupid that he just doesn't know he's with it, right? Because like, did you not listen to anything I said? Do you not listen to me? Do you not know who I am? Do you not remember living with me? Do you not remember being best friends with me? How do I sound crazy right now? Because I'm telling you all this stuff's real, and you're telling me I'm crazy. That means you're with it. My friend tells me, oh, you have gang stalking. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy that you even knew to drop a title like that. I go search this title up. First title that comes up draws me back to, at the very least, the property management group that was managing my apartment complex when a bunch of weird stuff happened. I'm like, this is weird that everybody's getting bed bugs and stuff. Like, I've never dealt with that. As soon as the bed bug thing is going on, I was like, I'm so clean. Even if this place has bed bugs, they'll never get me. Because they'll either be in the place, even if they're in my apartment, I'm so clean, I can still have my stuff, and they won't be in my stuff. So I knew that place was retarded, or I knew they had something. Oh, sorry, I dropped the R. I knew that place was struggling and had something going on. But Desert Palm Village, let's see, I forget the name of the place, but whatever part of the property management group was in this guy's title, except he's from Bullhead City. So I'm like, not only did it go back to Arizona, which is whack to begin with, but it went back to my apartment complex. Unbelievable, right where I believe everything got dumb. Like, people were parking my spot on the holiday. I was like, I'm starting to receive community backlash. Like, this place is whack. Like, I could tell people were getting messed with. As soon as it started to happen to me, I was like, oh, no, I'm being attacked. So I don't know how anybody else didn't have any kind of notion like that while they're being bed bugged and stuff. It's like, you're being attacked. They just thought, oh, I'm dirty. So that's just an example of the way they get random people who are maybe not targeted to the degree that I am on an everyday basis, but do get forced out of life, through regular motions, however they carry this stuff out, and people don't end up realizing their target. Whatever frequency they mess with you at there. But when you're a target, they frequently mess with you. They want you to know it's such a high frequency that it's blatant, right? All they do with other people who don't acknowledge the fact that they're a target, you're just getting messed with at such a low frequency that you don't care, or you endorse such raunchy treatment to yourself and your family. You don't mind being treated like a bag of shit. Like, hence why you live in a crummy little apartment box. Like, excuse me, apartment box livers. But, you know, I mean, it's not to take a dump on you directly. You're like me. You're the only one in your family that's really doing anything. So, congratulations to you. But it's the people that sit on their high horse from an apartment complex. It's like, look, dude, they aren't hooking you up at all. To come out and like attack individuals like me and call people like me crazy from an apartment box, little tiny, apartment buildings stacked on other little apartment holders. I've painted $1 million homes. I've seen what they give the people that they like. They don't like you. If you live in an apartment, maybe sure you live in an apartment and then you have $1 million home on the side. It's like, well, why aren't they letting you enjoy the $1 million home? Why are you stuck over here, quote unquote, living out of an apartment box, right? Well, because these guys never die, right? So factor in some other stuff. Entertainment only here. Sometimes these people don't actually die. So maybe they are willing to spend so long in an apartment box, but it's like, come on, if you're stuck here and you're stuck in an apartment box for so long, that sucks, dude. That sucks for you.